Hey y'all, welcome back to Ramble Mama. I'm Lisa. If you're new here and you're into deep dives on true crime, please consider giving me a subscribe. I think you'll like what you see. Okay, so I was a little kid when The Crow came out, but I remember being so transfixed by this movie and the controversy around it and this tragic passing of this beautiful young man with so much life ahead of him. So we're gonna get into this today and I'll reserve my thoughts for the end of it. So without any further ado, let's get into it.
Bruce Lee was a martial arts master, philosopher, and Hollywood's first true martial arts superstar.
To me, okay, to me, ultimately, martial art means honestly expressing yourself. Now, it is very difficult to do. I mean, it is easy for me to put on a show and be cocky, but to express oneself honestly, not lying to oneself, that, my friend, is very hard to do.
His journey from Hong Kong to Hollywood was unprecedented. But behind the confident exterior, there were secrets. Strange ailments, death threats, assassination conspiracies, and an ancient fear in the Lee family that no one spoke of.
Now, water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
各位觀眾，飲譽影壇嘅武俠明星李小龍突然逝世嘅消息，轟動本港各界人士。
His death at the age of 32 was sudden, mysterious, and for many, it didn't add up. Some claimed he was murdered by rivals. Others whispered of an ancient family curse that would claim his life and that of his descendants. The official cause of death was cerebral edema, but the cause of the edema was never officially determined. According to rumors, Bruce's success angered powerful enemies in both the East and the West. Whether it was rival martial artists, organized crime syndicates, or even dark spiritual forces, many believed Bruce's ambitions came at a cost. The ancient Chinese concept of the dragon curse was invoked, a notion that those who seek greatness may be marked by fate to suffer tragedy. Brandon Lee, Bruce's only son, was born in the shadow of a legend. He trained with the same intensity, carrying the weight of his father's legacy, and pursuing the same life of an action movie star.
I started training with my dad really as soon as I could walk. I mean, my dad was a really diligent trainer, and he always had people over at the house practicing, friends and students, and that was just how we played at my house, you know?
Brandon was on the cusp of superstardom, set to break free from the shadow of the dragon with his role in The Crow. But fate had a different plan. March 31st, 1993. A tragic accident on set involving a prop gun took Brandon's life, eerily similar to his father's untimely passing. He was only 28 years old. On the day he was shot, the firearms specialist, who was in charge of inspecting the guns for safety, was sent home early. Responsibility for the guns was given to a prop assistant, who was unaware of the rule for inspecting all firearms before and after any handling. Therefore, the barrel was not checked for obstructions when the time came to unload it with the blank rounds. Since the bullet from a dummy round that was used earlier in filming was already trapped in the barrel, this caused the .44 Magnum bullet to be fired out of the barrel with virtually the same force as if the gun had been loaded with a live round, and it struck Lee in the abdomen, mortally wounding him. The film was completed by using a stunt double, as well as digitally superimposing Brandon Lee's face over another actor's body. The eerie similarities between Bruce's and Brandon's deaths led many to speculate. Was there something more sinister at play? Theories emerged, ranging from negligence to deliberate sabotage. Father and son, united in life and in death, both taken in their prime. Two graves, side by side, symbols of a family marked by tragedy. Was it merely coincidence, or something more sinister? Bruce Lee was working on Game of Death at the time of his passing, a film about a martial artist who fakes his death to defeat his enemies. But in a dark twist, life imitated art, with rumors of secret rivals or shadowy organizations seeking to prevent the rise of a powerful dynasty. The film was later completed using stand-ins, lookalikes, and a laughable cardboard cutout of Bruce Lee's face. For those left behind, the pain was real and inescapable. Curses and rumors meant little in the face of grief. The legacy of the Lees is more than a tragedy. It's a story of resilience, ambition, and the quest for something greater than oneself. Despite the whispers of curses and conspiracies, what remains is the enduring impact that they left behind.
You still think of yourself Chinese, or do you ever think of yourself as North American?
You know what I want to think of myself? As a human being. Because, I mean, I don't want to sound like, as Confucius say, but under the sky, under the heaven, man, there is but one family. It just so happened, man, that people are different.
Okay, so what do y'all think about Brandon Lee's passing? Do you think there was any foul play involved? Do you think it was just a really tragic freak accident? Do you think there was any kind of a familial generational curse involved, given that he and his father both had unexpected deaths in the prime of their lives? I have to say, I know this is going to make me sound crazy, but with all of the disclosures that are happening around Diddy, and that rabbit hole goes so deep. I mean, like, Diddy is just a little anthill on top of it, I feel like. Not saying the crimes that he did were minor or anything like that, but just saying that it's just the beginning. I'm finding it harder and harder to believe, particularly in these freak accidents happening in Hollywood, that there is no foul play involved in it. I think that often there are different things done to people, especially families that are in that world, to harness and, I guess, control their energy. It makes me think of Heath Ledger and the Joker. And when you think about that movie, you can't help but think about his untimely passing, right? Because he died in very close proximity to the movie. The Crow is the same thing, right? You can't think of The Crow without thinking of the fact that Brandon Lee died very tragically while it was being filmed, and he couldn't even finish the film out. I think, and I know this is gonna sound crazy or whatever, but there is stuff that they do to get reactions from the public at large. And, like, we kind of saw this happen with the pandemic. We see this happen with mass tragedies. I think there's a way to sort of elicit fear, pain, tragedy in the mass psyche and do whatever you want to do with that energy if you're like a nefarious person who deals in what Theo Von calls the dark arts like that. That's my far out take on what happened to Brandon Lee. I think that he and Bruce were both influenced by nefarious forces that did not have their best interests in mind. But tell me what you think below, and I'll see y'all next time.